Matt Brown. One of my favorites. By the way, if you guys aren't listening to Matt Brown and you're a subscriber over here, trust me when I tell you, go give him a follow. Matt Brown, as usual, is not afraid to step in it. He's not looking to sidestep any topic. It's why I think you're going to like Matt Brown so much. Now, this one isn't overly controversial, but it does have to do with Chimaev and Dricus, which is behind us. It's old news. There is no talk of Dricus getting a rematch. Maybe that's not fair, and maybe that will change, but there's none as of now. So conceptually, if you don't like the idea of Chimaev versus Dricus, if you understand Dricus is a lot of fun to watch, and Chimaev's a lot of fun to watch, if you understand that one has a 65% finish rate and the other has an 85% finish rate, and you put them together and you just didn't like what you got, the good news is nobody's suggesting you see it again, at least not right now. So what would keep you still talking about it? And it has been an amazing thing where the boring one in that fight was Chimaev, and the one to blame in that fight was Chimaev, followed by referee. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, fine, yeah, I guess Dricus is the third person that we blame. No, find me an article. You'll never find it. You will never find an article. Dricus has not even been mentioned, even though he was in there for the exact same amount of time. He's not even mentioned. Fault has fallen to Chimaev. Fault has then fallen to referee. Now, I just think that you might find that interesting. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this any nicer than Matt Brown did. Like, we understand that was not overly fun to watch. But Matt Brown brought in a great comparison, which said, yeah, want to know who used to do that? You want to know the original that would size you, change elevation, tackle you, and keep you there was George St. Pierre. And as you do start to look at it a little bit closer, I don't know that you have a big problem with that match. Like, if you had a problem with that match, you would, of course, in airing your grievances, you would mention Dricus. He was out there doing the exact same thing. But from the beginning of this sport, if there's a boring match, the boring match will only go to the victor. I mean, this is very consistent. I had a teammate, Matt Lindland, who fought and beat Phil Baroni. And Matt got labeled boring and pull him off of TV, he's so boring. And Phil Baroni, who was in the same contest, just not doing as well, that's why he lost the contest, was labeled as one of the sport's most exciting. Two guys in the same fight, one boring, other most exciting. And you just kind of wonder, how's that possible? This feels personal. This feels like a personal knock at Matt Lindland. Absent of his professional performance. That's how it felt back then when it happened. And it's feeling that way right now. I don't know that you guys have a problem with takedowns. As I play the card back in my head, I can't think of a fight where we didn't have one. I think every fight that card had a takedown. I don't remember a single time that you guys booed or got restless. In fact, every time that I can recall, you cheered the takedown. It's all right. Here, we don't have a takedown problem. Do you have a ground problem? Because it wasn't matter if Chimaev just sitting there. He did pass 100% of the time. Most of that fight was done in full side control. A little was in the mount. A little was with the back taken with hooks in. I don't think you have a problem with that. Now, the power that Chimaev was able to generate, right, is he's in there touching him, and he's touching him. See how my arm is doing? See how this, down to my fist from the bent, that's my punches? All right, that's what he was doing. It was not a situation where the elbow got separation and the shoulder got cocked, and he was able to drive force down. I admit to all of these things. Like, I don't suggest anything to you other than what happened. But it does seem like a little bit of a one-off. It seems like something that we're getting ready to correct. We want to correct this. We want to change that grounded position. When they were on their feet, and they were on their feet 5 times, just due to the referee restarting rounds. That's before the 2 different times when Dricus scrambled up and got to his feet on his own. So that's 7 times in total. Never one of those 7 have you praised. Never one of those 7 times on their feet did the live audience, and I was in the house, cheer. Never once. So I'm just trying to really get to the root of it. I'm trying to get to the bottom of what you see as the problem. And as best I can tell, Chimaev's style demonstrated an ability to overcome your fighter's favorite style, whoever that fighter might be. And that, in part, is where the problem is. And people will do that. People will do that, even fans. They will be so fakeless to go, okay, change the rule. I've heard the rules and I've seen them applied since 1993, but I don't like that guy and I don't want that guy to win, so change the rule. It's like, okay, that's one way to come about it, but now we're also getting closer to the cause, which is your sincerity or your insincerity. At no point in the evening did you guys mind when somebody got a takedown. At no point in the evening did you guys mind when somebody passed. And those are the 2 things that happened the most in that fight. He set a record for how many times he hit him. Albeit, elbow was engaged. That elbow's got to disengage so that shoulder can cock. I understand that. But is that the real problem? Was the ground and pound not vicious enough? Was it not mean enough? Did you need to see Dricus get hurt, not just dominated? Was dominated not enough? And there's not a wrong answer, and I'm not trying to trap you right now. I'm just trying to have an open dialogue on if we're going to change a rule so that that doesn't happen again. What rule is it that we would change? We accept guys starting on their feet. We accept that guys can take the fight to the ground. We accept if nothing's happening that the referee can break them and come that up, which he did 2 different times. We accept that you've got to be busy and trying to hit a guy, and we also acknowledge that we like shots with a little bit more power, unless a story gets leaked to us through one of the announce team that I heard from his coach he's got a broken hand. If you get told that, then you're widely accepted of the arm punches. I'm just wondering what part of it was so bad. In many ways, he fights the way Islam fights and the way that Khabib fought. And those are compliments. And of course, like Matt Brown said, which Matt Brown met with complete respect, he fights a lot like George. And George was the biggest draw in all of pay-per-view, which meant people liked the way that he fought. So what exactly was the problem? And there is one, right, guys? I'm not quite on top of this. Like, I have not just put a completely accurate defense up for Chimaev. I'm getting us closer to the root. But I will admit, there's something out there. There's something out there. If you have identified it, put your finger on it, leave me a comment.